here as well. My name is Robert Saldivar, Executive Director of Vet Services here for our district. On behalf of our Board of Trustees, Cabinet, we want to thank everyone for taking the time to be a part of our first general session for the 2024 Lcap season. All right, and we want to get started. We first want to recognize a few folks that are here. First and foremost, our student ambassadors. A huge hand for them as they've been helping support. If we can have them stand up. All that. Okay. Quick pause. We're going to make sure that our translators are on. So let's do a quick check on that. If we're having some folks with some issues. Si no están oyendo lo que se está traduciendo, por favor, alcen la mano. Oh, it's a few folks. Okay, so let me see. We could have some support with the folks that have their. We might have. They're están revisando atrás a ver qué. Okay. Okay, so. And that's a reminder, if you, si ocupan traducción, atrás tenemos las personas que están apoyando. Alcen las manos si no están oyendo lo que se está traduciendo. ¿Todavía? Okay. Can we have someone from the back who's supporting come and just let us know what you need to help the folks that aren't getting the translation through the device? Another check. Vamos a revisar otra vez. Alcen la mano si no se oye. Okay, we still have a couple of hands. Tenemos dos manos todavía. Okay. En el canal 2, por favor, asegúrense que están en el canal 2. Okay. Are we good? ¿Sí? Okay, Charles, are we able to go up more or no? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and begin. So it looks like we have the translation fixed. So again, we have all of our ambassadors over here to my left. Madison, if you want to stand up, and we want to recognize all of our student ambassadors. Again, come right here. Thank you guys. They're often supporting us and at many of our events. Obviously, we have one for each of our sites that represents each of our sites, led by Mr. Hoshi, Ms. Brown, principal at Cypress, and Ms. Vasquez, principal at CVA. So thank you again for being here and taking the time. Also, we have three of our Anaheim Elementary board members in the house are also employees of our district, but also serve our Anaheim Elementary community. So I'd like to acknowledge and thank Mr. Juan Alvarez. If you could just maybe raise your hand for coming. Mr. Ryan Relas, I know we saw him earlier. Ryan Relas. And I'm not going to make a mistake for the second year in a row. It's Mr. Mark Lopez.
Ah, there he is.
For those of you that follow football, there's a Mark Sanchez. I said Mark Sanchez last year, so I do apologize. But anyways, thank you guys for being here. We appreciate it. And again, welcome to our 2024 Lcap season. We really appreciate all of our staff from our different sites that are here, classified, certificated, all our district folks, administrators, support staff. Also, a big round of applause for all of our support staff, all of our ladies who were took part in our maintenance and operations as well, who took part in setting all this up. From the tacos to the chairs to the rooms to the tables. So huge round of applause for all of them. Okay. We had the QR code up earlier, so we'll have it up again at some point. It is going to be important that you scan that QR code, so we capture one, your attendance, but also that's where you're going to indicate your options in terms of the focus groups that you'd like to be considered for, and we'll do our best to place you in one of your top 3. But that will come up later. And some other housekeeping items, just restrooms are out to your right, and then the first hall to your left if you need to use the restroom, okay? All right, without further ado, I'd like to bring our Assistant Soup of Educational Services, Dr. Freed, who will be a part of our welcome. Thank you.
Robert, can I take this off? Oh. I have a hard time standing still, so I feel like if I can walk around, that's better for all of you. Either way. Can you hear me okay? The other one was better? Yeah, I was a wrestling coach, so I can just use my wrestling voice. But can I take this off or no? Am I get? This way? Yeah. All right, I'll stay here. I'll take one for the team and stand still. But if you see me starting to fidget, you know why. Well, Robert, this thing is like. This is it. It's like I want to. Is there? Right there. It was this that was falling down. Here we go. Is that better? All right. Thank you so much. First of all, good evening. It's so great to see everyone here. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
All right. Well, first of all, I want to thank you for making the effort to be here tonight. This is such an important gathering. You know, as a district that celebrates the community school approach, I can't think of a better opportunity to bring our community together to grapple with what's happening in our schools, in our district, to better support our students. So thank you for being here. I know we have parents here. I see we have many students here. We have teachers and counselors. I see psychologists and social workers, our FACES, community school coordinators, just a lot of great folks, our administrators, both at the site and at the district level. So thank you so much for being here. Can't thank you enough. All right, so as we start off, I've been asked to say on behalf of our superintendent and our board a few words of welcome, kind of setting the stage for our time together, really these next couple months and the work that is at hand. So, oops, make sure it's on. There we go. So I want to kind of start and share a little bit about the work that we've done as a district for the last several years. So we've been fortunate that through several grants, we did a lot of visioning work at our schools over the years. In that visioning work, we brought families and communities together, community members, parents, students, staff alike, where in gymnasiums at each respective school, they really wrestled with 2 questions. One, what is it that we want our students to look like and leave with when they graduate from our schools? What skills, attributes, qualities do we want them to have? And then 2, what is the purpose of school? What is the purpose of our secondary education that we're preparing our students for? So as communities grappled with those 2 questions, they came to a consensus really across our district in terms of what we believe to be our North Star and our drivers for this district. So as a community, we developed really what has now become our vision statement for the district. Although each school has their own respective vision and mission statement, this vision statement really reflects the work of our district as a whole. And that vision of to create a better world through the unlimited you, that is really our charge. So I'm going to talk a little bit in a moment about the work of our LCAP and helping to fulfill those words to make sure they become our reality. Helping both our students, staff, and families alike, right, through the community school approach, that everyone can reach their unlimited potential and help make this world a better place. And if you see our mission, it's also connected to helping create students who have those soft and hard skills, who are life ready with the idea that they can live a civic life, right, and help make the world better. They're responsible for helping to protect and promote this democracy that we have within our country. So these are things that our district values, and this came from the community. This isn't something that 1 or 2 people came up with. This is something that was communicated across our schools. So now our charge is to help make that real. Also from that visioning process morphed our core values. Core values really define who we are and what we believe. So I want you to take a moment to look at these core values. And I'm going to challenge you in a bit to be thinking about, as we go through this LCAP process, how do we ensure these are the guiding principles that help us determine how we want to allocate resources and how we want to better support our students, our families, and our staff. Because you know, yes, at the end of the day, we want to help our students achieve, but we will also have to look at how do we invest in our staff to build capacity through professional learning so they are better prepared to support our students. How are we supporting our families so they can do a better job supporting their students in the way that they can come to school ready to learn and ready to thrive? And of course, how do we support our students? What resources, support, services do we need to have in place? Those are all things that through your focus groups, you're going to have an opportunity to engage as you look at data and make choices in terms of how we want to best support our students and our community. So through those core values and through that vision, that's where our instructional approach really came to life, our Career Preparedness Systems Framework. We also call it CPSF. CPSF is grounded in 3 concepts. First, the soft skills. It's really focused on ensuring that our students, through what they get each and every day, if you go back to our core values, right, we believe in and practice the 5 Cs. This is what we think should be happening every day in classrooms. That through classroom experience, through the work of our great teachers across the district, students are getting experiences where they're growing their skills that the world of work demands. We also know that just in life, students and adults who have these skills are more equipped to thrive. We saw during the pandemic, when the world was turned upside down, those adults who had these skills survived with greater force during that pandemic, right? The reality is many of our students are not going to always be in the same job for their whole life. Sometimes they may transition from job to job. Having these skills allows you to navigate in that world. So our charge as an educator, going back to what is the purpose of schools, is to ensure that our students leave with these set of skills to be ready for the world. The second element that you'll see is connected to our technical skills. This goes back to making sure that as a public school, we are teaching to the standards. We are focused on the traditional content. But it also ensures that as a school that is focused on preparing students for the world of work and life beyond school, that we're connecting it to the industries that they may be interested in being a part of. So we're very fortunate because of our Anaheim Union High School pledge that we have partnerships with UC Irvine, Cal State Fullerton, Cypress, and Fullerton College. And these partnerships talk about the flexibility that we need to have as an institution in supporting students for what's to come. With these technical skills, that also comes with industry certification. We have Google certificates. We're the first public school in the country to have a partnership with Google where students can earn Google certificates while they're in our classes. We have our partnership with Cypress and Fullerton College where students can earn dual credit, where they can earn industry certification via these dual enrollment opportunities. So when we talk about technical skills, it goes far beyond just the traditional content standards. That is something we're absolutely committed to, but we go beyond that metric. And then lastly, that third element that you'll see is youth, voice, and purpose. And tonight, in these next series of meetings that we're going to have together, is just a phenomenal example of what that looks like. We believe in amplifying voice so that way our students are empowered to create that better world, to be their best version of themselves. So you're going to see students who do TED Talks or soapbox speeches throughout our schools. You're going to see students who advocate for change and are always advocating to make schools better, right? Or things in their community better. So this is something that we believe very much in. All 20 of our schools are California democracy schools, but we also want to include that voice includes our staff and our families, right? We want everyone within our system to feel empowered to help make things better. So that voice and purpose. When we talk about purpose, it also connects back to identity, knowing who you are and how you fit, knowing who you are as a person and feeling proud of who you are, and then finding your own purpose and passion so that way you can go out and use the education you're receiving here to do something to make the world better. We want students to get jobs that are meaningful, things that they value and things that are going to help make their lives better and the world around them better. These are the drivers that we see each and every day in our instructional approach. And when we talk about challenges in a bit, part of our challenge is to make sure we continue on this journey to help prepare our students for life beyond school. And then the other thing I want to mention is that after this visioning practice, we soon got a community school grant. And I'm proud to say that 15 of our schools have been designated as community schools via this distinction. But I will tell you that all of our schools are community schools. I will also tell you that as a community school, we we're recognized as one of 3 transformative districts in the state of California. We've been recognized and are now hosting monthly visits. So I want to give Carlos Hernandez and his team, Auhsd Chavez and Kenny Perez, a big shout out. They do tremendous work in leading our community school effort. And I know there's lots of you in the room here, but I also know that we have members of our district steering committee who is also charged with helping to lead this work. I see we have Maritza Bermudez here, who's on our steering committee, represents OCO, also a parent. Saw Jessie Alvarez somewhere here. There she is, Jessie. She is our secondary PTSA president, also just a parent that serves on this committee and helps promote and guide the work that we're doing. I know I saw, well, I'm not going to go through the whole steering committee, but I saw folks that are here that represent the great work that you're doing. I think it's Auhsd Huerta and Tanya Garcia here. I think they're here too. So again, just amazing work, amazing people on the committee that are helping to drive this work. But it all goes down to, as a community school, many districts, when they think of community school, they're focused on the wraparound services. So important. So important. I want to give a shout out to Adela Cruz and Amy Kwan, Amanda Bean, and Amy Mai and Lauren Klasker. They all oversee our psychologists, our social workers, our counselors who do incredible work in providing Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 sports for students and families who need those wraparound services. So important. But we also know through the community school effort that we have to do more than just that. It's what we do in the classroom. And that's what separates our movement from a lot of the other districts who are in this work. We focus on equipping our students with the skills that I mentioned in the CPSF that help prepare them for the world beyond just schools so they can be successful and safe in their own world that they live in. All right. I also want to take a moment to talk about some numbers. So I'm really proud. As we start this work, I want us to take a moment to affirm the great work we're doing and celebrate where we have been over the last few years, and of course, through this process, where we need to go. As we think about our numbers, right, the first number you see is the Anaheim Union Pledge. Well, we know because we are a pledge and because we have access to cohort data, UC Irvine, Cal State Fullerton, Fullerton and Cypress College are able to give us specific data connected to our students and how our students compare at their institutions compared to the other students across their institution. And we're finding that our students are being admitted at higher rates at all of these institutions. Our students are outperforming via their GPA at all of these institutions. We are also hearing that our students are out persisting at all of these institutions. So at UC Irvine, for example, the average retention rate of a student at UC Irvine, and keep in mind UCI is a high-performing UC, is about 86%. Our students from AUHSD who attend UC Irvine, they are persisting at a 95 to 99% rate. So we're seeing the things that we're doing here in the classroom and here at our schools are having an impact on our students when they leave us. When you look at our state seal of civic engagement, and I think Ruben is in the house. I don't know if Dr. Kim is in the house, but they help lead our civic engagement movement. We are leading the state. We are #1 in the state of California when it comes to the state seal of civic engagement. #1. We have 78% of the seals in the state of California come from our district. 31% of the state seals in the county come from our district. So we are leading the way. Now, obviously, as years go on, that's going to start to reduce as more districts start to do civic engagement work. But because we were early in front of this movement, we have been dominating in the state seal, and that is connected to our California Democracy School distinction. You will also see that we are #2 in the county in the state seal of biliteracy. And I know Dr. Bryan is here. I want to give her and her team a shout out. All the world language teachers, the EL teachers do amazing work in supporting our students in this area. That is something that in our district we're incredibly proud of. I know we mentioned our 3 board members from Anaheim Elementary. They do amazing work with DLI. We are also growing our DLI programs. So a lot of work to be proud of here in supporting our students with multilingualism. Super, super proud of that work. If you look at our graduation rates, we are over the 90% graduation rate, which is higher than the state average. But I want to give you some specific numbers right now that speak to supporting students who are often furthest from the opportunity. When you think about our English learners, they have gone from a 73% to a 79%. That's a 6% growth in the last several years. Our foster youth have gone from a 64% to a 77% rate. Huge growth for our foster youth students. Our students with disabilities have gone from a 68% to a 76% rate. So we are seeing growth and closing gaps for all of our students groups, especially those that are furthest from opportunity. But again, we all know that we can do better. And that's part of why we're here. We need to start looking at ways and strategies and actionable steps that we can take to continue improving that kind of a metric. If you look at our A through G rate, A through G, for those who don't know, that A through G are the college metrics that Cal State and the UC system use as an indicator of college readiness for our students. It's really based on the courses students take while they're with us in high school. We have seen an 11% growth over the last several years in our district. But I also, again, want to call out some specifics. Our foster youth went from a 9% to a 26% rate. Our students with disability from a 10% to a 22% rate. So we are seeing growth, again, in those student groups that often were furthest from that opportunity. The socioeconomically disadvantaged students, students who live sometimes in poverty, they went from a 38% to a 50% rate. So again, something to be incredibly proud of. And this speaks to the work that is happening at our sites with our principals and through their leadership and the amazing teachers, counselors, classified staff that are leading the way. And then lastly, I think we're number 2 in the county when it comes to CTE, or the Career Technical Education. Something to be really proud of. Those are all the exclusive pathways that you see being built out on our schools, like the artificial intelligence pathway, biotechnology, cybersecurity, law and legal, medical, things that we're really proud of. Again, preparing kids for the world of work. When we talked about the technical skills, that's where you'll see some of that technical skills, where they're learning technical skills around medical, technical skills around law. Right? Those are things that are very specific to those industries, but that's where the 5 Cs play a big role, because if a student changes their mind, which we know will happen, those 5 Cs allow them to shift to the new area of interest without any issues. Right? With CTE completion, just want to share another couple of data points that I'm really proud of on behalf of the great work of our district, and I want to give Scott Rendell and his team and Amanda Bean a huge shout out for the work that they're doing in leading this work. Our district as a whole went from 3.6% in 2017 to 21% last year. Our English learners went from 5% to 11.5%. Our foster youth from 4% to 11.9%. Our students with disability from 7.9% to 17.9%. Again, great growth in these areas. But again, we all know we can't stop there. We got to keep working hard to do better. And then the last thing I want to share, and this is a side note, which also I think speaks to just the great work we're doing as a community. The board is in the process of considering going for another bond. You know that our school has a lot of facility needs, for sure. Well, right now, the bond is polling at a 67%. Just so you know, that what you need to pass a bond is 55%. And the architects who work with districts across the state of California say typical polling is in around the 55 to 56 range. We are polling about 11% higher than districts across the state of people who are interested in supporting this kind of measure. Now, the board hasn't made that decision yet, but we want you to know that through the polling process, it comes out that right now, based on the polls, our community has been higher in favor in higher percentages than other districts across the state. So again, that speaks to the great work that we're doing as a district, the great work that you as families are doing, the great work that our students are doing and our staff are doing. So something to be really, really proud of. Now, what I want to do is offer an invitation and a challenge. So now that I've said these things, your next several sessions together, I want to challenge you to think about our drivers, what the communities have spoken as priorities, right? Those skills, those attributes, those dispositions. I want you to think about the core values that were outlined by our communities. I also challenge you to think about the state priorities. You're going to be in focus groups that are based on the state priorities. And as you find ways to marry those two together, how can we create steps and actionable items that we can come together and provide recommendations that ultimately go to our board, and how we're going to help students continue to grow. Now, again, we're looking at how we can help all students grow, but I will tell you through the LCAP process, we have to be also very intentional in terms of how we advocate and support with actions our students furthest from opportunity. So my challenge and invitation is how are we going to come up with actionable steps to help our English or plural language learners? How are we going to come up with actionable steps that are earmarked and specific to our foster youth or our students who are living in poverty? These are challenges and invitations that I ask you to think about, because next month, or at the end of February, I think the 22nd, when you're together and you're beginning to look at data for your specific priority, that is the challenge. I understand that you may come in with ideas of things that you want to bring into as recommendations, but we need to make sure that they're connected to our drivers, connected to our values, and our priorities. The invitation is also to make sure we are listening to each other. I talked about voice and purpose. My challenge to my colleagues, right, our staff, I challenge you and invite you to really listen with intentionality and with a listening to understand concept of what our parents and what our students are speaking about. Their voice matters in this process. At the end of the day, they are our customers. That's who we serve. Listen to their voice. What are they advocating for? To our parents and our students, I challenge you to listen to our staff. They're in the trenches every day with your students, helping to support them grow and be the best person they can be. Listen to the things that they see, the things that they experience. And then together, how can we find the solutions that are going to best help us move and be the best district in this country? Right? So that's the challenge, and that is the invitation I ask of all of you. The other thing I want to share before we begin is the social contract. So we're all going to be coming with our own set of ideas and thoughts, our own lived experiences. Right? We talked about identity. We all have our own identity, our own truth. So as we're going through this, it's important that we remember the social contract. We have too many people in here to go through the process and build a social contract tonight, because that would take an hour and a half in itself. So I'm going to ask that as I share the social contract with you tonight, that you think about how you can come to every meeting while we're together and try to embrace and embody these traits. Because can you imagine when we are together, if we're living these traits and qualities, how, one, efficient we will be with our time, but then how effective we'll be in producing outcomes that are going to lead to better solutions. So as we look at these social contract concepts, I ask that you can give and accept grace through this process. I ask that you trust the process. I ask that you can be focused and engaged. We talked about listening to understand, not listening to respond, but listening to understand. We want to make sure we're listening through the lens of equity of voice. Has everyone had a chance to speak? And we've heard from all groups. There's a willingness to embrace discomfort. Sometimes when someone has an idea, it may not be the most comfortable. That's okay. We need to trust the process and listen to why they feel this way and how can that help us make us better. Speak your truth. You have your lived experience. Share it. Help us be better. Help build capacity in each other. And then expect and accept non-closure. Sometimes we may not come to an agreement, and sometimes we may have to agree just to move on. But know that through this process, with a lot of us in the room, and I'm so grateful so many of you are here tonight, how can we work together and continue to move forward, to work on behalf of our community and make things the best as possible? With that, I thank you so much for being here. I'm grateful to all of you. I look forward to working with these next several months. And again, I'm excited to see what comes of this process in supporting our students and our communities. I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over to Mr. Saldivar, who I know will introduce Dr. Hernandez in a moment.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Freed. We appreciate the words of wisdom and obviously the invitation and the challenge. Before we move on to Dr. Hernandez, before I introduce her, I definitely want to take a moment to acknowledge a group of folks that deserve to be acknowledged over and over and over through the course of a school year. Dr. Freed, I know, recognize a lot of our folks that are here, site staff, support staff, certificated staff, district folks, admin, support staff from the district, all of our teachers, social workers, counselors. But there's a group here that he mentioned that we obviously want to continue to acknowledge and thank, because they are our customers, and that is our students and our parents and guardians. So if you are a parent or a guardian, will you please stand at this moment? Parent or guardian, stand. All right. And obviously, again, as Dr. Freed mentioned, you are our customers, and our challenge is to continue to do what's best for our customers and come together to do the great work that we want to do. Our next group are our students. So if you're a student, whether you're standing up somewhere along our sidewalls, just make sure you raise your hand. For those of you that are sitting, please stand and let's acknowledge our students. All right. Thank you, students, parents, guardians. Once again, thank you so much for taking the time to be here. We truly want to continue to do this work to make sure that we're doing the best for all of you, our customers, and ensure that your future is as bright as we all want it to be. With that said, I want to introduce our Director of Learning and Development, Dr. Roxana Hernandez, who will continue with our Lcap slide deck. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Saldivar. I'm always filled with admiration, gratitude to share this space with all of you. These are the spaces in which we can build community, elevate voices, and gain consensus on priorities for our students. So thank you for being here and joining us. At AUHSD, we see the LCAP development process as an opportunity to tell our story. This is where we're able to highlight our accomplishments and gain insights from all of you, our community, our educational partners. This year is year one of a 3-year cycle of the LCAP. This is where we will go through the process to identify our priorities, revisit our existing objectives and actions, and to develop consensus whether or not to maintain, edit, or make changes to those priorities. As you can see tonight, the LCAP development is a unifying process that involves significant and purposeful engagement. Here's a snapshot of the demographics of the over 27,000 students and families that we proudly serve in AUHSD. We have 8 junior high schools, 8 high schools, alternative education, Cambridge Virtual Academy, Oxford Academy, and Hope School, home of the Tigers. The LCAP must focus on 8 state priorities that help all students succeed. The 8 priorities stem from the belief that many factors, both internal and outside of the classroom, have a positive impact on student success. Those 8 priorities fall under 3 categories: conditions of learning, student outcomes, and engagement. When developing the LCAP, we closely look at data specific to our unduplicated students. And those are our students that are low income, plurilingual students, and foster youth. We also review the needs of our unduplicated students that may also be students with disabilities and/or homeless youth. So during the engagement process, like Dr. Fried said, we're gonna challenge you during that process to ensure that you are looking at these important subgroups and putting them at the forefront of the decision-making and recommendations. We have developed 3 LCAP goals. These goals are aligned with the 8 state priorities, our district vision, mission, and our core values. Every year, we like to take a moment to revisit them and ensure that they continue to represent our district drivers. You will have an opportunity to engage in this process when we meet in our focus groups. For the LCAP, we will review the following data: satellite data, and that's our California dashboard data, state test scores. We will also look at map data, such as survey data, perception data, and also street data, which includes voices, experiences of students, staff, and our families. So we believe that an integration of the data through instruction is the ultimate investment in our most valuable community asset, which is our students. So after today, you'll be able to participate in a focus group. And during that focus groups, we'll be looking at different types of district data, both satellite, map data, and through this process, we want to identify priorities based on the most recent data. So we asked you to sign up today and to pick a focus group. So group 1 will focus on basic services. So if you have recommendations already in mind for facilities, we ask you to select group 1. If you have concerns about access to courses or expanding courses and programs at our schools, then you would want to join group 2, state standards course access. If you're interested in the growth of our parent engagement opportunities, you would select group 3, parent engagement. And group 4 will focus on pupil engagement and school climate. Here's a glimpse of our focus groups at work last year. As you can see, it's a collaborative process. So it's really a true convening where everybody comes together in the best interests of our students and our community, school community. So the LCAP educational partner input process begins with surveys. So if you have not yet taken the survey, please do so. We've been sending communication. Our window closes on Sunday, so I do encourage you to take some time to complete those surveys because we do want to hear your voice and your perception on those given questions. As you can see through these charts, we had a robust process with over 550 in-person participants attending one or more LCAP focus group meeting last year. We hope to see an increase in participation this year as we begin this important new cycle of the LCAP. So we want to invite you to go beyond today's experience. As Dr. Freed said, we want to invite you, but also challenge you. So we invite you to join the conversation. We will have 4 additional LCAP meetings scheduled. 3 of those will be with our focus groups, and then we will end the process in a large group meeting such as today. So it's important that you complete the check-in form, select your group, because we really want your voice to be heard. We will do our best to assign you the group of your choice. However, I will mention that we will prioritize having equal representation of our educational partners in each of those groups. So at this time, I would like to invite one of our community partners that we're working closely with so that they can come and invite our families to engage in some post-LCAP focus group convenings. So I would like to invite our members from OCO to come up.
Yes, please. Too much stack for me. Hello, everyone. My name is Maritza Bermudez. I am also a parent from an Anaheim High School student. I represent an Orange County Congregation Community Organization, which we have partnered with the Anaheim Union High School District to be able to help and support our parents and caregivers in this process. The word is challenging, right? That we're saying today that we want you to come and participate, but also take on the challenge of being able to participate and understand the process. So what we've done is after each LCAP meeting, we are going to be offering another space, which will be virtual and in person here at the district office, for our parents and our caregivers to have a space to come and debrief, just to make sure they're understanding the process, if they have questions, if they want to share any information, or just want to bounce back ideas. That space is going to be open for us parents and caregivers to come together and really have that opportunity. We know it's asking more, right? You're coming to the LCAP meetings, but this is really a collaborative effort to making sure that we have authentic representation of our parents and that we are engaging them in an authentic way. So we invite you, I believe the flyer is up there. It does have a QR code if you guys want to sign up. It shows you the dates. And if you would like more information, I'm going to be in the back. But this space is open for all parents and caregivers. So if you really want to take advantage of being part of this process and really understand it and being engaged, please join us in those meetings. And we thank the Anaheim Union High School District for giving us this opportunity, especially with we're engaging in this community school transformative approach. This really speaks to that we're truly engaging our parents and our community in this process. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bermudez and OCO. At this time, I'd like to invite Mr. Saldivar to walk us through our next student panel. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Hernandez. Ms. Marissa Bermudez, thank you as well. Awesome. Quick note on the OCO. I'm going to go back one slide. So a couple of things. This is the QR code for parents and guardians who are interested in the debrief sessions. And then the one we had there before was the check-in, which includes the obviously the choices of your top 3 focus group areas. So two different QR codes. So just making sure that we know the difference between the two. Okay. And again, there are the dates that we had, going backwards, the dates that we had for the debrief are there as well. And that flyer has been sent to all of our parents and guardians, okay, just 5 minutes ago, all right? Okay, so you should have that as well, all right? I also want to make sure we hit the pause button here and recognize one of our Board of Trustees, Mr. Brian O'Neill. If you want to just raise your hand in the back over there. Thank you for being here. Definitely appreciate all the support, Mr. O'Neill. Okay, and then what we have here for you today is now, Dr. Hernandez and Dr. Free talked about the opportunity for this process, the LCAP process, for us to tell our story, right? Our journey, our story, the experiences that we're having on site, in classrooms, and who better to give us a glimpse of that than a group of students. So at this moment, we want to invite our panelists for the next session. So I'm going to have them come up, right, and we'll introduce them one at a time. So go ahead and come up at this. Go ahead. Yep. Our students. All right. Okay, Madison, I'm going to have you come with me because you're going to be our moderator, okay? So I am going to have each of them introduce themselves, okay, by let us know, obviously, their name, the grade they're in, the school that they attend. And so we're going to start with our moderator. Madison will be the first one to go, and then we'll pass the mic down the line, okay?
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Gracias, gracias. So, good afternoon, everyone, or good evening. Buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Madison Romero Alarcón. I'm a senior at Anaheim High School, and I am also Anaheim High School Student Ambassador. So if you see all of us with the uniforms, we're the student ambassadors. I'm going to take the mic off because, like Dr. Fried, I'm a little fidgety as well. So I'm going to walk around a bit. So we're here today. We're really proud. Each and every single one of us are super proud of our schools and the changes we've made, right? So we're going to have a couple of questions. I think it's 3 questions. The first one is, what are some things that a staff member does in a class? Yes.
Introduce themselves first.
Okay, perfect. So, yes.
So we'll have them introduce again, student, your name, your grade, and the school that you attend. And let's test to see if it catches. So we're going to start with you and see if we don't have to take the mic off the stand there. So let us know in the back if we can.
Mi nombre es Jesús Gael, yo soy de México, soy de Michoacán y es mi primer día aquí en la escuela. Bueno, soy primero en la escuela, entonces soy de escuela Magnolia y estoy en el grado.
Okay, so, Jesus, hold on. Okay, so he's Jesus Alvarez Esquivel. He goes to Magnolia High School. He just came from Mexico, and he's really excited to be here.
Hi everyone, my name is Natalie Zambrano and I'm a senior at Anaheim High School.
My name is Selena Reynoso and I'm a senior at Savannah High School.
Hello, my name is Denise Rojas and I'm also a senior at Western High School.
Okay, so now we're going to get started with the questions. I think we're going to have them up on the screen, right? Okay, so I guess I'll start off. Like I said, my name is Madison Romero. I'm a senior at Anaheim. So the first question we have up on the board is, what are some things that a staff member does in a class and or on campus to help you find success? So at Anaheim High School, we have a very community-oriented school, right? We are a community school, but it's a very home feeling. It's a family feeling, right? The staff there is very friendly. A personal anecdote of mine is I have a specific teacher. I think I saw him here. His name is Mr. Calderon, Martin Calderon. He is my AP Spanish literature teacher. He is my maestro de cinematografía. He is also the director or lead teacher of DLA at Anaheim. And his classroom isn't just a place where we go to learn. It truly is an experience. It is, you walk into the classroom, you learn about culture, you learn about literature, you learn about all of these different things that just, they make you grow as a human being. They don't make you grow as just as a student, but as a human being as well. And it really is a different feeling. They provide support and guidance, the office hours. They'll give you feedback on any assignment that you have a question for. Another teacher, Ms. Majewski, she is my AP government teacher. That lady, she sure knows how to teach. It's like you walk in there and it's like a college class. You really do feel like you're learning on a completely different level. The staff members go above and beyond to ensure that every student has the resources that they need to excel, whether that be in English or even in Spanish. For the newcomers that come to the United States, we have Ms. Garcia and Ms. Alvarez. They provide support for those students that just transfer over to the United States, whether that be if they need a tutor or if their family needs resources to pay electricity, to pay the bills, to pay anything that they may need to have a good life, a safe life, a stable life, so that the student can only focus on their education, so that they feel secure that they don't need anything. So at Anaheim and in AUHSD in general, we truly see that all around. The next question is, next question. Oh, si quieres, tú, ¿te traduzco? ¿Sí? Ok, so la pregunta es, ¿cuáles son unas cosas que un maestro o miembro de la escuela hace en una clase o en la escuela donde te ayuda a encontrar o recibir una educación exitosa? Sí.
No, pues más que nada, pues la clase que más me ha ayudado es la de inglés, porque más que nada quiero aprender más el inglés, el idioma, para que agarren más que nada clases en inglés y todo eso y aprender más cosas, para más que nada tener un buen futuro y eso y alcanzar mis éxitos y todo eso. La maestra es Pardovich y más que nada pues es paciente con todos los estudiantes que no saben español, te explica a todos, a todos los estudiantes, más que nada los latinos y eso que no saben español, más que nada es paciente la maestra para que alcances tus éxitos y seas grande en algún futuro.
Okay, so he said that more than anything, he wants to learn how to speak English, and the teachers are very patient with him, and that they give him the time to learn everything step by step and slowly, and that they're caring and loving, and they give him that support that he needs to have a stable education.
Okay, so hi everyone. Once again, my name is Natalie and I'm a senior at Anaheim High School. And something that staff members do on campus is they focus on the holistic being of the child, not just necessarily like the educational aspect, but as our well-being as a whole. And there's a really stark contrast between, in my opinion, between traditional schooling where we're just sitting down in rows and the teacher's just feeding us information, and the schooling that I'm fortunate enough to receive at Anaheim High School. We're constantly collaborating with one another and really being able to get different perspectives, our teachers' perspectives, our classmates' perspectives on about like the things that we learn. And I'm not just confined to one form of learning. I'm able to expand my horizons and become more socially aware while simultaneously developing soft skills like collaboration and compassion. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Once again, my name is Selena, and I go to Savannah. The first person I want to mention is the first medical teacher that I had coming back from quarantine. Her name is Miss Chadwick. She unfortunately couldn't be here today, but she basically was the first person to start opening up like a new world to me, which was like the medical field that I was slowly falling in love with, which I didn't know yet. It's her and Miss Governo, who I had last year for CNA. They both helped me achieve getting my certification to become a nurse's assistant. And they both just, whenever I needed help, they were always there to show me the skills over and over and over again. After, even if I asked the same question like 5 times, they still found a new way to show me. And even at clinicals where we would go, I was always trying to ask questions so that I knew I was doing it right. They have always been patient with me, and they still are today. Ms. Governo actually got me a job at the same place I did clinicals at, and I still work there too.
Hello, my name is Denise Rojas, and once again, I'm a senior at Western High School. I feel like there's a couple of staff members that automatically popped up in my mind. You know, they completely changed the trajectory of not only my life but also my future. And the one that I really, really wanted to thank today, but sadly had to leave a little bit early, was Miss Horta. Because she was always really kind to me, and she gave me the opportunity to actually have an internship to focus on food insecurity in my community. I got to do a lot of hands-on learning along with her, and she's pretty much my mentor. Another shout out I'd like to do is to my Spanish teacher and my advisor, Ms. Galarza. We've always focusing heritage and culture on campus and making it flourish and become something grand with the Day of the Dead event that we host at Western High School. And I'd also like to thank my current chemistry teacher, Mr. Jaramillo, for always being so charismatic and always allowing us to explore more of, AP chemistry along in our campus, because it was really impactful to be in all these courses. I feel that all three of these staff members have really integrated just confidence and also just passion in what I want to do when I'm older. And it kind of changed the trajectory, because at the beginning of the school year, I was going one way, but then it changed the trajectory of what I want to do for my own future.
The next question is, think about a classroom activity that has brought you closer to the needs and assets of your community. So in every Anaheim High School or Anaheim Union High School District High School, we have a club called RSVP. RSVP stands for Raising Student Voices and Participation. So in this club, what we do is we gather all the inputs and the concerns or issues that the school may have. We leave it up to the students to come up with possible solutions for these issues. We have 3 summits, 3 active summits throughout the school year, 1 each quarter, and then the 4th summit, or the 4th quarter, it is a video of what we could, or possible solutions for the school. So at Anaheim, what we have done is we have 2 students from each classroom come up to the library or the College and Career Center, and we train them on how to facilitate. We have a set of Google Slides where we ask them, students, we're giving you the opportunity to create a change. What is it that you want to change? What is something that you want to see here at Anaheim or at any high school? And we go through the first summit, which is finding the issue, finding the problem. The next summit is what are possible solutions that we can do? The 3rd summit is, this is what we did. And the 4th summit is for next year, for the underclassmen, what is something that you want to change, right? And so I feel like having the opportunity to create this change, to even have this process, is something that has impacted us as students, as human beings, to have the ability to have our voices truly heard. So RSVP is very based off of Lcap. It's our school's version of Lcap. And I feel like thanks to our administrators, to everyone here, we have the opportunity to create change at our school site. Thank you. La pregunta es, piensa de una actividad en la clase que te ha traído más cerca a tu comunidad, en sus necesidades o en cualquier problema que crees que tengan.
Pues más que nada, como lo mismo que digo, como los latinos en la clase de inglés que trabajamos en equipo, pues más que nada, nosotros latinos tenemos como más inteligencia, más desarrollo, y más que nada necesitamos ese apoyo para nosotros, para que nos tengan más paciencia, nosotros que no sabemos tanto inglés, que nos ayuden, más que nada para hablar el inglés, para que algún día así nosotros pues podamos llegar a un futuro, más que nada, para que no se nos complique entrar algún día al colegio y todo eso.
Okay, so he said that as Latinos, we are very diligent, we are very hardworking, and so thanks to these teachers, we have the ability to have them be patient with us, to have them be caring, and that he's just very thankful for that.
Okay, so I am currently a part of my school's senior class cabinet, which is a component of Anaheim High School's ASB, and I'm able to work with my fellow cabinet members to put on a variety of community service events that are accessible to our seniors. We've hosted food drives, clothing drives, winter basket drives, and being able to host these community service projects has certainly given me a more profound insight into the needs of my community, and has definitely given me some valuable and significant introspective into the needs and wants of my school's community and my community in general.
One thing I didn't know until my teachers mentioned it to me was that healthcare is in a very high demand right now. And I didn't know how deep I was going into, like, one class is just learning about the body, and then from there I went straight into going to clinicals and going into a facility and actually helping nurses take care of patients. And I honestly didn't, I wasn't expecting such a huge change in just a year. And like in the beginning when we first went to go shadow people, I wasn't even comfortable watching somebody do a brief change. I don't think anybody would be, but you know, I had to be there to learn and actually know all the steps. And even just feeding a resident that's not all there, you have to be comfortable doing things that most people aren't comfortable even learning about. And I feel like me doing that, and I have friends asking me how I can, you know, just do it. So normally now I can do a brief change, I can feed a resident, I can ask what clothes they want to put on and help them change their clothes. And I don't know how to say it. Sorry. I got underclassmen to want to join that class now, so now I feel very proud of them for wanting to learn more about what I do and how they can help people in other facilities and not just the one that they go to for clinicals.
So for me, I actually completed the ROP career pathway for medicine, specifically public health, last year, but I'm still integrated really deeply in these classes along with Ms. Chavez, because I currently just came out of our HOSA / just collaboration with Cal State Fullerton, which is a program that they have to do research. And last year I had the opportunity to research about McKinney-Vento families and the impact that it has on youth. And this year I'm following suit with a similar project to do more research about it. And not only do I think that this was a very engaging opportunity to have inside the classroom, but it gave me the opportunity to actually expand insights into the district and to provide more better insights of what we see along for McKinney-Vento families, for McKinney-Vento youth. And being able to continue that still is really impactful to me, because even though I'm not part of the class because I already completed it, they're still looking out for me and they're still reaching out to me to get these research opportunities.
Okay, the next question is, in what ways has your school provided opportunities for you to explore your own voice and purpose? So, like Natalie mentioned, ASB is very active in Anaheim. We see these students from ASB at 5 in the morning, 4:30 in the morning, getting the posters ready, doing Deck the Halls, really like being active in the school at some crazy time, but you see a smile on their face and they're happy to be there. They're happy to give the seniors on senior night, you know, their last little poster with their little soccer figures or their football figures. And you see them joyful, happy to be there. They're just, it truly shows that they're happy with their purpose as a student as of now. We have Saturday academies. During those Saturday academies, Anaheim High School gives us the opportunity to if there's a tardy or an absence, they mark off the absence or the tardy, and you get to explore something new. So at Anaheim, we got a flyer with Congressman Lou Correa's Young Congressional Leaders Program. We go see local governments, small businesses, big businesses, corporate foundations. We got to play this little game of, it's called A Bite of Reality, where we get like money assigned. They give us a spouse, a kid, a certain amount of money, and we have to try to figure out our life on our own. So you get to see that life after high school active, like you get to live it. And that is something where it gives you a purpose. It gives you a little, like, I guess, bite of reality, right? What it actually is gonna be like after high school. And it's a love-hate relationship with the capstone project. As a student, it's like nerve-wracking, right? You're like, oh my goodness, if I don't pass, what's gonna happen? But it's a process that helps us, just realize what we can improve on, or what life is gonna be like after high school, how to get a job, how to act, how to, even sit right, just to get a little taste of what things are going to be like. And it gives us our voice. It gives us an opportunity to realize what life is going to be like. Okay, so te lo traduzco. So, ¿en qué manera tu escuela ha proveído la oportunidad para que tú puedas explorar tu propia voz y tu propósito?
Pues más que nada no fue como la escuela, la última pasantía que tuve, así como el trabajo que tuve en las vacaciones, más que nada tuve igual exposiciones así como estas, y como que no me detuvo, como que yo hablaba español, no me detuvo a continuar con mi trabajo, ¿me entiendes? Entonces yo continué y eso me fortaleció a continuar con mi trabajo, aunque no supiera hablar inglés, pero eso me contuvo adelante. Entonces la última pasantía que tuve con unos compañeros tampoco nos hablaban inglés. Entonces yo hablé en español y ellos tuvieron la confianza de hablar español también, porque se sintieron así como confiados. Entonces eso es bueno para uno, entonces es bueno para todos también.
So he said that he had the opportunity to work over the summer, and even though he didn't speak English yet, he found a way to communicate, and his friends later on felt comfortable enough to speak in Spanish, and so they were able to communicate, and it was a life skill that he was able to utilize and to explore over his summer job.
So for me, my school has connected me to so many different programs that have really cultivated me into the person that I am today, but the one that stands out in particular is the AIM Summer Internship Program that I was fortunate to be a part of this past summer. I got matched, my internship was with the 4th District Orange County Supervisor Doug Chafee, and I was fortunate enough to, learn about the inner workings of the office and learn about public policy. And I applied to all of my colleges as a political science major. I've always really enjoyed learning about government and law and all of the inner workings of those components. And I feel like being able to learn firsthand what it's like to be a policy advisor for local government really gave me some deep perspective into the ongoings of government, and it really made a world of difference for me and my future.
For me, before even coming into high school, Ms. Alvarez, which is my counselor, she came to us during 8th grade and basically showed us all the different career pathways that we could choose from and see what we would be interested in. And obviously, I chose the medical program. And while this year, actually, not too long ago, I had the opportunity to speak in front of 80 international educators and basically tell them my story on why I chose that pathway and basically just the little steps to get how I got here, where I am now. And basically just, it was me and 3 other students, so we all got to share why we want to do what we choose to do in the future, and if we change, then they'll probably call us again, but but yeah.
Something I really like about Western, or at least for the opportunities presented to me, would be that the interconnectedness between staff. I felt that there's moments in time where like I was outreached a lot as a student from staff members alike to talk about like, you know, certain issues that were impacting my community. In particular, we were always involved in like meetings to do with like how can we spend this certain funding, and being a student representative that way was like really impactful to me because I also got to see like what do staff think, what does the principal think, what does the district think, and what do students think, what do families think. And being able to be in that situation gave me not only the opportunity to see like just the whole process of the district itself, but being able to see how funding works and being able to see how we could achieve our goals for programs and for other extracurriculars alike.
Another huge round of applause for our student panel. Madison, Jesus, Natalie, Selena, and Denise, great job. Thank you for representing and for sharing a part of your story and your student experiences back at your sites. And again, we truly appreciate all the great things that you guys are doing and all the support that's being given to you back at your sites and here at the district. Good job. Okay, so we're at the end here, and again, that was just a small sampling of, again, we have over 27,000 students across the district, right? Very small sampling of the many stories and student experiences that are out there, and the impact of that our staff at each of our sites here in our district is having on our students, right? And so we're very proud of the work. As you saw some of the examples of the work that we're doing. We have one more piece of data that we want to show you that really just is a testimony to the great work that is happening at each of our sites with our staff and our students and here at our district. Dr. Hernandez referenced the different types of data earlier that you're going to be looking at. Obviously, often in these processes, we look at a lot of satellite data and some local data. But this was an example of street data, which is just as important to our journey and to our story, right? And in listening to the voices of our students, of our community, of our families, parents, guardians, staff, partners, in terms of giving us that insight of what's going on, how we can continue to support, and how we could continue to do things better, right? So we're going to launch you with one final video. And that really is going to show an example at each of our sites of some of the great things that are happening. But again, going back to Dr. Freed's message, connecting back to our core values, back to our vision and mission for our district, back to our framework, right? The soft skills, the hard skills, and then voice and student agency, doing all these things, making sure that we're being intentional with the supports that we are putting into place, how the money aligns, so that we continue to amplify these stories and put our students in a position to be successful. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and show you this one last video as an example of, again, the many great things going on across the district, and we look forward to seeing you at our next session in a couple of weeks. And again, thank you for being here. Okay.
think student voice is really the groundwork of our education. The connections that we make is really what drives the community. And if you don't allow students to have their voices heard, it's really a one-sided conversation with the adults. But I think in our district, AUHSD, what's really important is that one of our drivers is student voice and purpose.
All right, everyone. You guys have a good night. Well, a few of us will stay back here if you have any questions for us, and we look forward to the next 4 sessions to come. And again, let's continue to make these experiences real through the LCAP. Have a great day, everyone. Great night. Thank you. Hi, how are you? Good to see you again.